out here now trying to work on this. I was troubleshooting the throttle sticking, and I think I got a little bit of it figured out, but I uncovered another problem. The problem I uncovered this time is a transmission issue. It's stuck in second gear or first gear or something. It's stuck. I don't even know what gear it's stuck in at this point. I just know that it's stuck. It won't shift. So I got some stuff I got to look at as part of that. So we're going to be following the transmission troubleshooting guide that I found. Thanks to the greater community behind this. Somebody had the 4L80E transmission troubleshooting guide, so we're just going to start working our way through that to see what we can find. All right, let's get started. Hey guys, we're out here on Thor right now. I got to hit pause on a lot of things on it, and not for any other reason other than I think I found a major issue. I have live electrical connections underneath the passenger seat from things that they've just disconnected as part of the demo process. I'm looking at the automatic fire extinguisher system, the AC, some cut lines that are just hanging around out there. So I've got a huge rat's nest of things to unravel down here. So let's go ahead and take a look and see what you guys can see. So I removed the battery that was right here, disconnected everything, which is why it's all kind of sitting up out of the way right now. But I've got two connections underneath here that really absolutely are scaring the crap out of me. I've got this ground right here. I've got this live connection. And if I follow those things back, they come down to the active bars down here. So these two items right here, those are live connections. And I've got to get those removed before I can do anything else. This thing is a hazard with those things just exposed. I have things like cut harnesses in here. This one, if I did my research right on it, is for the automatic fire extinguisher system. So I could pull this one out, but I need to get it out of there. And that's connected to the connectors in here. I need to get this battery out of the way so that way I'm not threatening my own life here as part of this. So let's get started on some of that stuff. All right, so as part of getting all this stuff cleaned up in here, and I was not planning on doing this right now, but I'm doing it anyways because there was some very unsafe stuff happening inside here. Thank you very much, GovPlanet. I managed to get these big cables that were these were literally just hanging up in here. Just completely open-ended. This end obviously was kind of flipped around here, but these wires were just hanging out here. The red one was connected to the main power bus over here, behind this screw right here. You can see it's got all this the silicone gel on top of all of them. I had to cut this piece out of it so that way I could get access to this, which is buried behind this. So I took this off and pulled this piece out. This wire is now free to come out. So on the other pile of stuff over there. And then I did the same thing for the power return on here. So it was connected on this screw here. Again, this was covered in silicone gel. So before I'm done, I'm going to come back in here and reseal up this connector and this connector as well. I'll spray inside of this really good, or whatever I got to do it. You can see that they've already started some of that process right here. They replaced, not down here, but up here. They've recovered this up here, so I'm going to end up doing the same thing down here with something. And then this screw as well, I'll hit that as well. Some other things I took out. I took out this little accessory harness here. It was cut anyways by the government, so I ripped this thing out. I looked up the wire codes on here. This P41, and this goes to the automatic fire system. So they cut it out, so I just ripped it out. And then I had a couple of extra wires just dangling in here they were connected up here, but these pieces here were disconnected, so I went ahead and disconnected those. All right, I got the batteries out. I got the compartment cleaned up, thankfully. Yeah, so now we get to dive back into this transmission area issue that I'm having where it won't shift out of gear. So just to recap with you guys what I did. So I came over here to the transmission control box. I cannot get it out of first or second gear. I don't know which one I'm even in right now. I just know that I won't shift. So to start with, so I turned had all the batteries hooked up, turned this to run, and the transmission light switch would come on over here. So you can't see it right here right now, but it would come on. And then if I started the truck, that light would go off. it tells me that at least this box right here is getting power, because this box controls it. But you know, I've got a little test connector here, and I'll try to link this in the description. But you jump the 2 pins, the top left one and the top right one together, and that causes this light, when you switch this back to run, it causes this light to flash codes. Now the first thing it does is it flashes 1 and then 2, and it does it by blinking 1 and then it'll blink 2, ding ding, and it'll do that 3 times. And then if there are any error messages that it can detect, it will actually spit them out to you in the same format. So if it's 2.5, it'll blink 2, or 2, and then it'll blink 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And they'll do that 3 times, and then if there's another error message, it'll blink that one as well, and then it'll go back and blink 12 3 more times to let you know that it's the end of it. Now mine didn't blink anything. Mine blinked 12, 1, 2, 3 times, and then it blinked 12 3 more times, and then it repeats. So I was just getting the 12 error code over, the 12 code over and over again. It wasn't an error, it's just a status that's active. Alright, so here we are, down here troubleshooting this stupid transmission. And what they want me to do is do a resistance check against my TPS, and I'll show you guys that here in just a second. But the TPS is what I'm testing right now, and it's going from pin S, which I'll show you in a second as well. So I'm doing pin S on this J1 connector on the terminator thing, which is the very last one. You see it here in the picture too. So I'm going to do pin S, and it says to connect it to C or P. And C, P is the easier one to get to, as it is right here. And I should be getting resistance across that, and I'm not measuring any resistance. So the next one they want us to test is D, which is right here, A, B, C, and D. So I'm going to test there. And you can go to either C or P as well. And if you look at the voltmeter, I'm getting no resistance, but I know it's working because I can get a resistance measurement off of my connections just touching. So I think I got a bad TPS for sure. And then the other test that I did is an engine running test on my engine RPM sensor. So the test failed. I didn't get any voltage measurement coming from the engine RPM sensor. So if you follow the instructions, it says go to 408, which I did. This is right here. So in working through it, and I didn't do this one because you had to do the initial test with the engine on. But then you do a resistance check on the cabling. First you check the continuity test for the actual, or the resistance check for the sensor itself for 150 ohms. I was actually getting 148 ohms out of it. The next thing you do is do a continuity check of the wire itself. When I do my continuity check, so I'm doing 2 different continuity checks. I'm doing one on the engine RPM sensor, and then I also did one on the throttle position switch, the TPS sensor, as well. But to do it, I basically ran a long cable, which you can see right here, and I ran it to the destination that I needed to go to. So testing my TPS sensor, I ran it down here. You can see it right down there. It goes all the way here. And then whenever I just needed to run the test to the TPS, I would do the same thing. I would run it up over the windshield over there, through my windshield actually, to do the test. And then I did a resistance check on the wires all the way through. So the J1, pin H for the J1 connector, which is here as well, which is this connector here. Pin H is actually right there. Tested that. I did get continuity through that. And then pin P, which is down here, I did get continuity on that. So both of those passed. I still didn't get any voltage reading, so it says replace the engine RPM sensor here. So that's going to be one of the things I have to do soon. And then the next thing is the throttle position sensor. This one is not so easy to test. I did all the continuity checks, so the sensor test did fail. You guys just saw that. So now I've got to do, I did the continuity check, so I did the continuity check right here. That was good. I did the continuity check here, that was good. And I did a continuity check here, and that was good. My vehicle wiring's okay. Proceed to the TP sensor adjustments, blah, 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 blah. All right, guys, so to wrap up the transmission and the electrical issues, we got all the electrical stuff cleaned out of the battery bin, and I'm contemplating just relocating that whole thing now. More work to come on that. But I got the transmission troubleshot. I'm down to the TPS sensor, the throttle position sensor, which is on the side of the injection pump. And since I've got a throttle sticking issue, I've already acquired the injection pump and a new TPS sensor. So I'm working on the next phase of that project now, where we will get the injection pump swapped out and get that new TPS sensor installed in there as well. Hopefully that solves my sticking throttle issue and helps fix one of my transmission issues. The other transmission issue being the engine RPM sensor. That one's pretty easy to swap out. I just have to get one to put in it. So yeah, so that wraps up the transmission for now, guys, until I can get the injection pump swapped out. And the injection pump's going to take some work, namely because I don't like doing things halfway, so I create a lot of extra work for myself in the process when I decide to do stuff, and this truck is no different. So yeah, stick around, look for the next video to come out soon. Yeah, lots of cool stuff happening. Catch you guys later.